Stop comparing. Stop
Okay.
comparing because what is causing all this pressure right now is because parents are comparing their children with other children. Yes, you hear it a lot, and it's okay because everybody wants their child to be the best.
True, true.
However, your child can be the best at different things.
Welcome to another episode of Conversations with AMA. Today I have with me an early years practitioner. She's not just an early years teacher, she is a leader who is an expert. And today she'll be talking to us on rethinking academic pressure in the early years. So we want to know, are we doing too much too soon for children in the early years? Are we pushing them a little too much than we should? And I'm sure she has so much to tell us already because that laughter says a lot already. Welcome, Mrs.
Thank you.
Temitope Madumere. I hope I pronounced the last name correctly.
Yes, you did. You did.
Welcome, Miss Temitope. So good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ayeni. I'm really honored and I'm really glad to be here. In fact, I love this topic.
Oh,
When I saw the topic, I was like, yes,
need to have this
really.
conversation.
Whoa, this is becoming a problem. It's becoming a
Hmm.
pandemic. Like, I
Wow.
don't know how to express it. So I'm really glad that we're here to talk about it.
Fantastic. So before we delve into the topic, let's get to know you a bit more. So please introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about your experience in early childhood education.
My name is Temitope, as you know already. Yes.
Right.
So I am an early years educator. I'm a school leader as well, but I consider myself an early years practitioner because I enjoy the early years. So my journey in early years started 13 years ago
Mm.
at a Montessori school. And let me tell you, I never bargained. Or I didn't even, some people say, oh, I always want to be a teacher. No, I didn't.
Want
That was
to.
not the plan for my life. I schooled in Communal University. So, and after school, after the NYC at Akwa came back to Lagos and
Okay.
then I was looking for a job. And then I saw this school did advert for Montessori training. It was a
Okay.
training.
Okay.
So, and then I started reading up about Montessori and I'm like, oh, this is strange. Like, I've
What
not
is
heard
this
about
all about?
it. I said, no, I need to go to this school. I went to this school to make inquiry about the training because I was just at home and I felt like this training it looks nice. Okay, let's
Mhm.
find out what it's about. And when I got it, told me that they have a vacancy for an assistant teacher. And I said, no, it's training I came here for. It's not job I came here for. I said,
I just
the
want to
training.
learn first.
Yes. And I said the training has like they've done the training, they don't have any training available for
Oh,
now, but that I can come on board as an assistant teacher and that they
okay.
train their teachers. And I'm like, oh, fantastic.
Okay,
Okay.
good
Let's do this
opportunity.
together. Like, what's there in being a teacher? After all, I'm the firstborn. All my siblings, I've been the one
I
doing the
taught
whole work.
them.
So why can't I do this? So I took it up. I applied for the job. I got the job. And
Nice.
then, yes, I entered the classroom as an assistant teacher.
Mm,
And every time I go into that classroom, the Montessori classroom,
right.
big,
Hands-on,
explosive.
spacious.
Oh
Yes.
my God. Every time I go into the classroom, I'm like, wow. And then I see the
Mm.
children working, and I'm so impressed. Like, I didn't have this when I was growing up. And I'm seeing this now.
And
I'm
how it
seeing
is working well.
Yes, I'm seeing the materials. I'm seeing the children.
Right.
They're so independent. They're taking out the materials. They're working
Mhm,
independently. They're putting. In
mhm.
fact, the first time we had circle time and they all sat down on the mat, I'm like,
Ah, how
please.
organized.
Then I
What's
see,
going on here?
Montessori classroom is vertical grouping. So you have
Yeah.
children age, like we have the children age 3 to 5 in one class. And I was in that class, 3 to 5 years. And I'm looking at the 5-year-olds, they're setting the table, practical
Mm,
life. They're setting the table for
right.
lunch. And then afterwards, they're washing their dishes all by themselves. And then I'm seeing one 3-year-old small child empty the trash. Like, and then they say, oh, it's nap time. Everybody, let's go. And I'm like, if I even napping,
Yeah, like you have all of that time. Amazing.
that was early years that I knew
Right.
13
Hmm.
years ago. That was the
Wow.
early years I was introduced to. I mean, that was the
Hmm.
early years that made me fall in love with early years. They were training me, and every time we do these trainings and they say different things, like I'm like impressed, like, wow, you mean this is what early years is
What
supposed to be like? You mean
happens?
this is what happens to children in the foundational years of their life? Oh, you mean a
Hmm.
3-year-old is supposed to be thinking like this? Oh, when we're growing up, 3 years is just supposed to eat, go to school, come back home. That's it.
Play with sand.
Happening, son. So I was so excited
Impressed.
to the
Oh,
Montessori education,
amazing.
and Montessori is so beautiful, so beautiful. Like you see the children just exploring different things. You see the older kids, because they already understand some of this concept. They're teaching the young
Right.
children, and then it's independent. Like the fact that it's independent learning, the child gets to choose the activity they want to
That they
do. The only
want.
thing the teachers do is just, okay, just reinforce. And then if you see them, probably they're not working with that material very well, you have to step in, just show them.
Right.
And Montessori is lovely. That was what I was
Hmm.
introduced to in the years. In fact, it
Amazing.
was beautiful. We didn't have displays on the wall. Like if you know a proper Montessori classroom,
Oh,
no display. We didn't have all those. The classroom was, the walls were bare.
fair.
Beautiful. Like you come in and you're welcome into the classroom. The children had a very wonderful time in school. That
Hmm.
was how I started with early years. So immediately I left that setting. I mean, that Montessori classroom. In
Right.
fact, till now, I'm yet to see a classroom as engaging as that. Because it was so engaging. And then
Hmm.
the children were not writing, but they were doing a lot of activities to help build their writing skills. That was
Okay.
what I was introduced to in early years. But then after that, I kept growing and growing to where I am right now. So now
Amazing.
I am a school leader. Now I am no longer, I'm still in the classroom, but I'm not in the classroom fully anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So now
Mm-hmm.
what I do now is to support teachers and to ensure curriculum delivery in the classrooms and to ensure that all the children are learning in a nurturing environment. That's my focus right now. So,
Amazing.
and because of it's what I'm so passionate about, I ensure that the teachers in the school where I currently live are doing the right thing, are delivering the
Right.
right, and I make sure that all the children that come into our own building are getting the best, especially the children in the early years,
In the early
especially like
years.
you need to see the way I'm so passionate about early years in my school. In fact, I take my time to do the curriculum for the early years.
Hmm.
I do it. In fact, I'm always updating. Early years curriculum is not there's no one curriculum.
At
Like you
all.
keep updating.
Oh,
Okay, this is what I feel the children
interesting.
should do this time. Okay, this is what I feel the children should do this time. So that's what I do now. So right now, I'm a school leader and I'm just
Fantastic.
supporting the teachers in my school. Thank you.
Thank you for taking us through all how you started and then all that you're presently doing. It's so good to know that you started from wanting to seek training and then you got into it and now you have grown. I was so just thinking about how you started from being a teaching assistant and then now you're a school leader. I'm sure it wasn't an easy journey and there was a lot of work that went into it. So nice to know. So you've mentioned just a little bit here and there of what we're here to talk about, but I will still ask again, just so that we can fully understand. What exactly should learning look like in the early years?
So in the early years, learning should be engaging,
Okay.
engaging, and it should be child-centered. So we should think of the child first. And that is
Right.
one thing I think is one thing, like in the Montessori system, is one thing they don't joke about. They think about the child. In fact, they will tell you that you should put yourself like you're a child. So, the shelves in the classroom are
Mhm.
the child's
Eye
age appropriate.
level.
In
Right.
fact, displays are supposed to be, if you are going to have displays, it should be something the child eye level, something the child can see.
Right.
So for me, learning in the early years should be child-centered. Learning in the early years should be play-based, should
Hmm.
be engaging. But in early years, we should focus on the children communication skills. We should focus on the children social skills. We should focus on the children creativity. We should not just
Hmm.
focus. We have like there's so much pressure on academics.
Hmm.
And there's a whole lot to achieve in a child. The early
Right.
years, that is from baby, that's from 0 to 5 years,
2 5,
are
yes.
transitional years. And the children should enjoy coming to school. So
Amazing.
early years for me, should be play-based. That's just
Hmm.
it. Activities in early years, and I say activities now, not worksheets,
Right.
not paper, not biro, not pencil, not
Hands-on
crayon. I
activities.
say activities. Early years should be full of
Hmm.
activities. You know, the children should
Right.
come in every day and and they should always say, wow. Oh, wow.
Okay.
In early years, you can change the position of the classroom at any time. Today, you have
Mm-hmm.
a reading corner here. Tomorrow, you have a role play corner there. Then the
Right.
following day, you have something else there. Like, well, like I'm thinking of how exciting early years.
It is.
There was a time that we were exploring animals, and I went as far as going to get grass. I put it on like I didn't even know there was a turf there. Like I didn't know we had something like a turf tray. I just went
Okay.
and I got one small tray, put the grass there, and I brought in animals, those plastic animals, put it there like it was
Right.
like a zoo. And I told the children that, oh, look at our zoo, look at the animals there in the zoo. Oh,
Hmm.
look at these. And then we did something like maybe an old McDonald farm. And then we had
Amazing.
different animals. And then we were singing the rhyme and we're looking at all the animals. There was a time when we were going to explore farm animals as a theme, and I brought in a live chicken. And do you know that, to be honest, I
Oh,
used my money to buy this
awesome.
thing. Like, gladly, because I enjoy doing it. So in my head, I'm thinking of what will I bring tomorrow that these children will be
Hmm.
impressed and they'll go home and they'll tell their parents that, oh, mom, do you know what happened
Something they
today?
would not forget.
There's a Montessori theory that says, involve me and I will never forget. That is not just
Right.
about teaching the child or showing. You have to involve
They have to
the children.
experience it.
They have to see. They have to be able to feel it. So when you bring the chicken, I brought the chicken to school that day, and I fried the chicken, and then I told the children, guess what? Today we have a live chicken in school, and the
Wow,
children
the
just like chicken.
excitement.
See, the child will always remember that their teacher brought a live chicken to class,
Hmm.
and that a chicken is
Um,
a farm animal, and that the chicken makes a particular sound, and that the chicken has
right.
feathers, and that they were able to
Right.
feel
Because
the
they
place
get
that
to
the
see it,
feathers.
touch it. So it's not just what they
Yes,
are hearing, it's
it's
what they're
not.
actually engaging with. That is
Yes. And
amazing.
then there was a time I brought in catfish. I was a class teacher and I told my assistant then that I'm bringing catfish. And when I bring this catfish, after the children must have seen the catfish, we are going to cook it and all of us will eat this catfish. And that was what we
Wow.
did. When the children saw the fish, of course, nobody can touch catfish. The catfish was in the water, swimming, moving, and
Aw.
the children were just like, oh, fish, fish, fish,
Mhm.
oh, fish. And that's enough. For me, learning has happened.
It has
Learning does not
happened.
need to happen when you are in the classroom, you are writing on the board, or you are reading one story. I mean, we
Mm,
keep doing this over and over again. Learning
mm.
has to be as fun and practical. Learning has to be engaging. The children need to experience this learning and know that, yes,
Right.
they need to understand it for themselves, not what you have taught them. They need to be able to
Mm.
understand it. You know that when you do such activities, even the child will start giving you they'll start telling you all manner of things. You'll be shocked. Oh, the fish moved like this. The fish did this.
Yes, they are
Oh, there
able to
were
actually
two.
describe because they can see it right there.
Yes. And then you know that learning is interconnected. That
Hmm.
is, while we
Hmm.
are learning now, the focus is we are exploring probably sea life.
Animals,
We're trying to
right?
explore catfish. But while we're doing that, maybe I brought in five small, like tiny catfish. And I now said, okay, how many fishes do we have here? And the child says, oh, let's count together. Five. What has happened there? Mathematics.
Numbers, yes.
Math has taken place. But then when you tell parents that, oh, today what we did was that we looked at catfish, the parents will be like,
They're
ah,
thinking, but they see catfish everywhere.
just
But
catfish.
what's so special about it? But they should be writing or reading or something.
Yeah. What do you mean? Just catfish. So
Hmm.
learning in early years should be engaging. That's what I can say.
Right,
It can go on
right.
and on, but learning should be as exciting and as engaging as possible. That's it.
Amazing. You have said so much already. Engaging, it should be fun, it should be practical, it should be experiential. The children should get to be involved in their own learning. Let's
Mhm.
come down to our own Nigerian system. Here, we know what happens. A number of times, parents have that major focus on their children reading and writing. I don't know if I would say it's kind of like a competition, but you hear people saying, oh, my child can write one to this, and somebody else saying, oh, when my child was this age, he was able to write this or read this. Do you really think that it is realistic and developmentally appropriate to be having 2 to 3 year olds rush through reading and writing?
I'll start by saying that there's this very strong cultural belief that early academic achievement, is success. That's, oh yes, because my child can count 1 to 3, or my child can count 1 to 500, then my child is smart.
Right.
I think it's a cultural belief in Nigeria. I want to just be that's what we believe. Even Nigerians in the diaspora, they also feel the same way. Even when their children are not meeting their own belief, they still feel like their child has not gotten there. So they expect that my child should be good in academics.
To do all of this.
Just academics. There's that pressure. That is not even here in Nigeria. I'm talking about even Nigerian parents that have even traveled.
They still outside Nigeria.
Yes, they still have that belief. They believe that at this age, my child should be doing this. Even when the system is like, no, let's take it one step at a time.
Right.
That's what. And so schools are now beginning to fall into this demand that, this is what parents want.
So let's try to meet up so they can come.
Yeah, because parents are demanding results. Parents want results. Parents want to see that the children, that the 2 to 3 are reading, that the 2 to 3 are writing 1 to 500, 1 to 1,000. So what do school is a business. So what do you have to do? You meet up demands. You have to respond to their demand. Now, reading for children at age 2 to 3, let me not lie, is not really realistic. It's not. Now, why I say not really, because children develop at different paces.
Right.
And then some children actually show early signs of reading. Some children actually, but not reading fluently. Don't let me say reading fluently.
Right. Basically the knowledge of phonics and all.
Just phonics knowledge. Some children are just good. Some children are just geniuses. Some children are just smart. But you cannot compare Tade, that is a genius,
with another child.
With another child that is just growing. So for me, it's not realistic. And you cannot expect fluency at that age. So if you're expecting fluency, I would say no. But if it's okay, maybe just little phone, just being able to say their letter name, say their letter sound. Okay, being able to maybe say at 3 years, I've seen some 3 years that are matching 2-letter words, blending 2-letter words already, being able to associate to their beginning sound, all the simple literacy concepts, yes. But you mean fluency in reading, that is being able to read the ball is on the mat, all those, then I would say it's actually not appropriate for that age. I like the EYFS curriculum. I worked with Montessori, but then now I focus more on the EYFS framework.
Okay.
So I like the EYFS framework because it focuses more on the prime areas for children within that age bracket.
Sure.
So when you have children between 2 to 3, you're supposed to focus as a teacher, as an earliest practitioner, you have to focus on those prime areas. The children are supposed to be well grounded in those prime areas before you start going into the other specific like literacy and all that. You're supposed to look at the children communication skills. That's why we have communication and language as one of the prime aids. You're supposed to look at their gross motor skills, their fine motor skills. How well, see, some of those children, they are reading, but tell them to write. They are writing like this.
So like pentagram is not formed yet.
It's not formed. Some of those children are reading so well. Tell them to run. They cannot run. They cannot carry their body. Their gross motor skills, 0. Fine motor, Okay, some of them are very good. They can read very well, but their social interaction, no. And you know that sometimes this pressure that the children are under affects their social interaction. Okay. Because you're so busy with, I want my child to write. No social skills. A child cannot say, oh, please, can I have this? No share. I don't want to share. I don't want to take turns. And children will not be open to these skills if they don't interact or they don't play with their friends.
Right.
Because it's during play that they can learn some of these things. As simple as role play. While they are role playing, they learn to take turns. They learn to share. They
Hmm.
learn to,
So is that
they
there's that
learn,
emotional development as
yeah,
well.
they learn to do a lot. Even communication skills. They learn new words, big words, just doing role playing.
Hmm.
Have you ever started doing role playing and then you hear some words and you're like, ah,
This
there
child
was a
can
there was
use
a
this
time we
word in
did,
a sentence.
yes, there was a time we
Hmm.
did I did role play and I brought in some dresses, you know, these children dresses. So I set up a fashion store for the children
Amazing.
for our continuous provision outdoor. And so we
Okay.
had this, I put in the dresses on a hanger and I put a bag. I had a bag, like a small purse, girly purse. I had a mirror set up. Like it was like a fashion
Nice.
store. And so the children came in and they were looking at the dresses like they were buying it. So you're supposed to shop. So
Right.
they were buying the dresses. And then one of the girls got to where she was going to pay. And then she asked, how much? And then I'm hearing $1,000. I'm like, dollars in Nigeria. Okay, this is good.
Right. They already know that it's a
Yes,
currency that you
it's a
spend.
currency that you spend. So you'll be so
Nice.
amazed. And so now, if the other child did not know what dollars is,
Now
guess
the
what?
other child has learned from that
Has learned.
interaction.
But you will not say that. I will like come to class and be teaching you about dollars and pounds for 2 year olds or 3 year
Right.
olds. No. But these are
Right.
things that they learn just through play.
Hmm.
These are concepts they learn through play. Or when you set up a restaurant and then you see the children teamwork. You
Hmm.
see them working together. You see somebody cleaning the table. You see someone coming to you and say, "Oh, do you need muffins? Let me give you some muffins. Oh, should I make you tea? Oh, please sit
Hmm.
down. Please feel comfortable." And then you're wondering, where are they learning all these nice manners from? It's through
Hmm.
play. Now, we are so focused on academics. I want my child to read. And we forget the other soft skills that these children
Hmm.
can learn and develop. We forget the
True.
fact that
True.
we are building a holistic child. And for a child, for you to say that yes, a child has experienced holistic development, you need to think of their cognitive skills, you need to think of their
Right.
communication skills, you need to think
Right.
of how they can collaborate with one another, you need to think of how creative they are. Please tell
Hmm.
me, if a child can do these things conveniently, a child can thrive in any environment in the future. Because all you need to thrive in, even in the job space, is the ability to collaborate, the ability to be
Right.
creative, the ability to think,
Communicate well.
and the ability to communicate well. That's it. But
Hmm.
we don't think of, parents are not thinking of that. Parents are thinking of now. Now.
Not of
I
the
want to go,
future.
I want to go somewhere now. And I want my child to be able to read what is on the board and let everybody say, wow, your child is so smart. What
Hmm.
school is your child going
Hmm.
to? So for
Okay.
reading, age 2 to 3, I would say that, well, if you have a child that's a genius, yes. But for fluency at that age is not developmentally appropriate for that child.
Thank you so much. So we're going to ask how emotional development and social development are being affected by this pressure. But I think you've already told us how when we have so much academic pressure, the children are not supported with in their social skills, emotional skills, and how it is through play-based learning they get to interact more. So thank you very much for getting into my next question already. So let's talk about what milestones parents and teachers should focus on now instead of rushing them through the math, English, writing numbers, writing letters, and all of that. If you're looking at play-based learning, what milestones do the parents actually need to focus on for children between the age of 0 to 5?
Language development, first of all.
Okay.
Language development. And we said it earlier when I talked about communication and language as one of the
Right.
prime areas in the EYFS framework.
Okay.
Emotional regulation, being
Hmm.
able to regulate their emotions, being able to control and be able to express how they feel. Oh, I'm
Hmm.
sad because of this. Being able to talk about it. Oh, I'm happy because
Right.
of... And then you know that children, especially in the early years, especially those that just start school or people that or children that are like maybe the only child at home, just starting school, they get
Right.
angry. Oh no, they want to have everything all to
Everything,
themselves.
right? That because they know they are not used to
They
sharing
are not used to
already.
sharing. Yes. So we should focus on emotional regulation. We should also
Right.
focus on their social skills, which is very, very important.
Mm.
See, I've seen a lot of smart people, even adults, smart adults who have very bad interpersonal relationships. They have bad
Mm.
social skills. They're not able to
Interact with others
communicate, they're not able to interact
confidently.
with people. Yes. So we should also focus on their problem-solving skills. We should
Mm.
stop being in a haste to solve the problem for them. Children face challenges.
Try.
Let them
Yes.
try. Let them persevere. Let them keep trying until they get what they actually want. That's why I
Mm.
actually like when children are building blocks. I love it so much. I like when they build and then the block falls. And they build again and then the block falls. And they
So
keep
they're
building the
trying to
child.
figure out what do I need to do exactly?
Yes. And so they're looking. Am I okay? Maybe I'm not placing the blocks nicely. Okay, how
Right.
about if I place the block this way? Okay, what if I place it this way? You know, they keep thinking to themselves. So that
Try to
thinking
figure it out.
solving the problem. They're thinking, critical thinking skills. They're
Mhm.
thinking. But when you rush to help the
To
child
get it
solve that
done.
problem, then you're not helping the child to grow.
Hmm.
You're not. And then we look at creativity. Early age children needs to be creative. That's why we do a lot of drawing. We allow them to draw a lot of crafts, and not the crafts that teachers are helping them with, not the one that the teachers will put the pen and will put the notes for them. Early age children should be as creative. They should think in their head that, oh, I want to make a bag, and then
Hmm.
they take the paper, they put it together. So creativity, independence.
Right.
You have to be independent. Curiosity. And
Hmm.
early children are really, they're always curious. What's there? What's in that bag? What did you put in there? And then I'll talk of their motor skills, which is also very
Okay.
important. Fine motor skills and their gross motor skills. So these are the milestones that earliest practitioners should actually focus on.
Okay, fantastic. So basically, emotional skills, language, creativity, fine motor skills, build up their problem solving. That's a whole lot. So the goal, the end goal, like you've said, is for us to not raise children who are going to become adults that are academically sound but
Mhm,
socially awkward. I
mhm.
think that's something that parents should think about. We want to raise children who are well-rounded. In terms of academics, they are good. In terms of social skills, emotional skills, they are still good. Thank you very much. So let's think about now the teachers and the school leaders. They might know what to do, they might know what is expected, but you have maybe a few parents who are insisting that this is the expectation I have for my child. I want my child to be able to write. I want my child to be able to do this and this before this age. How can school leaders, thankfully you're a school leader, how can school leaders and teachers manage these parental expectations when they come?
You have to sensitize the parents.
Okay.
You have to educate the parents.
Okay.
So whenever parents come to me as a school leader, as the head of school with complaints, which is okay, and it's very okay to communicate your concerns with
Yeah,
the
to the
school.
school. Fantastic.
So when they come and they explain their concerns and they say, oh, this is actually what we want. We want our child to be writing 1 to 1 million. We want our child to be able to read. I'm just exaggerating anyway, that's
Right,
one.
I understand that.
So when they come with this concern, now it is my job as a professional to offer
Hmm.
professional guidance. When you come to the doctor will
Mm-hmm.
offer you
Mm-hmm.
professional guidance. Now it is my job
Right.
because I have been trained to do this. So I am
Okay.
not, I'm talking from learning, I'm talking from years of
As
experience
an expert.
as an expert, yes. So when you come to me, I will explain to you. I will even educate the parents.
Right.
In fact, I educate my parents a lot. I also tell them to
Hmm.
stop comparing. Stop
Okay.
comparing because what is causing all this pressure right now is because parents are comparing their children with other children. Yes, you hear it a lot, and it's okay because everybody wants their child to be the best.
True. True.
However, your child can be the best at different things. Your child
Mm.
can be the best at soccer. So you
Right.
can't use the same yardstick for your own child. Your child
Hmm.
can be the best even at sport. Can be the best at different
Music
things.
and
In
dance.
music, in gymnastics. You don't have to say your child must be the best in mathematics because of somebody's child is the best in mathematics. Your child can be excellent with spelling. very good at spelling. And your child might be very confident, extremely confident. And we have a lot of children that
Right.
are struggling with being able to talk and communicate
Hmm.
very like in public. Even a
Hmm.
lot of adults are still battling with it till today.
Right. That is correct.
So you don't so I educate parents, let me just say that when they come to me with their concerns, it is my own job to educate them on
Hmm.
the milestones they should look for in their own child
Right.
and stop looking out for other milestones. In fact, sometimes I tell them, let's look at this child. This child is doing very
Hmm.
well in this. This child is doing so well in this. This child, I can list a lot of things that the child is doing excellently well at. And then I tell you that, is it just this writing? Don't worry. Give this child some time. The child will get it.
We get
Is it just this?
there.
Give this child some time. The child will achieve this. But let's not rush the child.
Hmm.
So for me, I feel the only way schools can balance parent expectations is by educating them and by communicating with them appropriately. So you
True.
don't shut them out whenever they come to you with these concerns. You explain to them why certain approaches are better for their child. You explain to
Right.
them why we feel that now parents will come and say, why don't you just use only the Nigerian curriculum? I don't want you using what's all this British, American, EYFS framework. I don't want it. You need to explain to them why you are using the EYFS framework and why you feel it is the best for their child.
Right.
You take your time
Right.
to explain to them, okay, my child is not writing. You need to explain to them the different pre-writing skills that the child must have
Needs to
before he starts
develop
writing.
first.
So you need to explain to them, okay, I want my child, I want him to start writing 1 to 100. Your child needs to start learning how to trace patterns, how to write patterns before he can start letter formation or number
Hmm.
formation. These are the
Right.
basics. Let's take our time. Right now, this is what we're doing. You explain in details. This is what we're working on now. Once the child is able to achieve this and the child is very good at this, we'll move on to this. Once the child is grounded, we'll move on to this. However, you can also support us at home. Oh,
Important.
my child keeps peeing on himself, keeps peeing on himself. We've done everything at home. He's just peeing on himself. Then let's work together for potty training. You need to explain all these things in details because parents come with being a school leader comes with lots of concerns. You hear a
Yes, you
lot.
hear different concerns and
You
feedback.
hear different, but you must be ready to know that you have to keep sensitizing and educating the parents on the best approach for that
Fantastic.
child. And knowing fully well
Fantastic.
that the approach for this child is not the same approach for this other
For the
child.
other child or
Because each
children.
of these children are all unique.
Hmm.
That's one of the principles of the UIFS framework, the unique child. Every child is unique. So you must understand each child. You must
Okay.
understand the milestones and know where, okay, these are the areas that needs to be improved for this particular child. This is how we can do it together as a team. This is how we
Right.
can work together. This is what we will do as a school. However, we would like to encourage you, the parents, to also do this at home. So another thing is schools can also train teachers. As much as you're training the parents,
Fantastic.
as much as you're trying to educate parents, you need
Train
to
the
also make sure
teachers
that your
too.
teachers are well trained. Your
Hmm.
teachers know the appropriate curriculum. So yes, because now there's a pressure, so now what we do is a blended curriculum.
Okay.
So it's a curriculum that gets to meet the needs of the learners with the EYFS, using the EYFS framework and also using the Nigerian curriculum.
Okay.
So the Nigerian curriculum applies mostly to like maybe literacy, math, but you see the prime
Okay.
areas, you have to
You're
use
making sure you're focusing on the
yes,
EYFS.
the EYFS. You have to
Okay.
use it because it's very important. So you have to make it a blend.
Hmm.
That way you're meeting the child, you're trying to balance it. You meet the child here, like you meet the child halfway. And then you also meet parents' expectations as well. But you need to train teachers so that they know what they are doing. There's what we call best practice. We do best practice
Right.
training in school. The best
Right.
practice training in my school is when teachers train themselves, like among ourselves, we train ourselves. We look for areas where a particular teacher is good at, and then you train
So she
everyone
comes to
else,
train others.
yeah, on what you're good at.
That's
So
lovely.
that's the best way. So apart from professional courses that we take outside, that we do, we also do in-house training among ourselves. So sometimes I can also look at an area that needs support, an area that we are all struggling with as a team, maybe report writing, maybe assessment, maybe it could be anything. And then okay, guys, let's have a training on this. And then we do it together. Schools need to train their teachers and also train their parents on child development.
Fantastic. So train teachers, sensitize parents so that at least the academic pressure is not coming from the teachers and it's not coming from the parents. And even when the parents come with their concerns, like you said, teachers also need to know how to respond, and school leaders should be there to sensitize. Thank you so much. So now let's come back to the changes. Let's come to changes that you would love to see in the early years. So while we are rethinking this academic pressure, what changes do you think is required in the Nigerian education system, particularly relating to the early years?
First of all, a shift from performance-based learning to development-based learning. I don't know why we do paper-based tests for children in the early years. It wasn't like that before. Now we're doing it. I understand if you do it for children in reception class that are transitioning to
into the primary.
Yes, because you're preparing them for elementary school. But when you do paper-based assessment for a 2-year-old, I'm not just a fan of it. I don't know. I just don't believe in paper-based assessment.
Does it actually give us a true test of the child's ability?
No,
because if it doesn't, the truth is, why are we doing it?
It doesn't. Because you can't grade every single child in early years the same way.
True.
Like I said before, that every child has different strengths. They have where they are extremely good at, and they have where they are really struggling. So you cannot use the same questions to grade all the children. Right. And then because the child does not perform so well in that question, you feel like the one that performed well is better?
Is better.
No. So we need to have a shift, actually, from all this paper-based. We need to have more. We need to go back to when the AYFS, the earliest classroom, was more of observation.
Right.
Where we could write our observations about the child.
Exactly. Just observe what kind of interaction, what kind of activity, and you can already make your note as to what the child knows.
You need to go back to when you could take pictures as you're seeing it happening. You're getting pictures, you're recording it. Like the time when we had lots of records, you can, with observation notes and the pictures, you can go back to maybe 2 years ago and look at how far this child has grown.
Exactly. You can actually track the progress with that.
Yeah. But then we are so focused on paper-based.
Want to see the report?
In my school, our end of term report, apart from all the ticks, I tell the teachers in the school to please write their comments. They should write their comments, details, what you know about the child. I like detailed comments. Even as a parent, I tell them that sometimes I don't even look at the ticks.
You want to just read, what does the teacher have to say about my child?
Yes. I want to know that this teacher knows my child. Because there's some things you put in that comment out. Even when I'm reading, I'll say, yes, this is my child. I used to write my comments so well that a particular parent told her husband during our PTC, parent-teacher conference, that I always look forward to her comments. I always look forward to her report.
Amazing.
She writes like when she reads it.
That truly describes my child.
This is my child. This is not copy and paste. And the funny thing is that when we write observation, those times we were writing like now. Right now, what I do now is to read through all the teachers' observation, read through their comments, read through their reports, and all that. Probably write my own reports, my own comments at the end of everything. But
about
when
the children,
as classroom teachers, we did not have AI. I tell the teachers, you didn't see me when I'm having meetings. We did not have. Think of AI now.
Back then, there was no AI.
Like now, AI has made everything.
Or maybe we didn't rely on it that much.
We didn't rely on AI. Then we were writing details. You would look at the child, you write details about the child.
A true description of that child.
That you go as far as talking about what the child did when the child just resumed, when the child just got into school, when the child just resumed, the child settled in.
Because you have all the record.
the child, while the child was settling in, the child made friends with this particular person, the child enjoyed relating with this person, the child this,
Right.
then gradually the child started sitting with a group of friends. You talk about how the child has improved from just staying alone to start relating with a group of people in the classroom. And then you start talking about how the child is so eager to come into school to see their friends. That way the parents are like, oh, my child really enjoys coming to school, or my child enjoys
Mm-hmm.
making friends. I wrote one comment about a child who has made a friend, and then the parents were so surprised that, please, I want to see, I read your comment, I want to see who the friend
Who the
is.
other child
Oh,
is.
so my child now has a friend, and
Hmm.
immediately I want to meet with the mom. Before I know that, they're exchanging contact. I didn't know. Oh,
Right.
they felt like this is a child that didn't have good social skills, and now the child has opened up or warmed
Making
up to a
friends
particular
this
friend.
way.
These are things parents want to see. These are things parents want to
Right.
know about their child. Or, well, that's what it's supposed to be anyway. So, but when we are focused on performance based, how the child performed in their paper-based assessments, how can we really tell how the child has
Hmm.
improved? Because for me, I don't like paper-based assessment, especially for the younger children in early years. If you
Right.
say
They can't
education,
even write it most of the time.
who
So
writes
someone is
it?
asking and writing.
Yes. Look at the 2-year-olds. They can't even read what you have written for them.
Right.
You write their
Right.
name, you write the
Right.
date, you help them to move, you help them, and you will still be the one to write the comments.
To write the answer.
Please. So if we can have that
Right.
shift, that works.
Hmm.
And if we can have more teacher training, like I said before, and
Right.
also more parent awareness, like a stronger parent awareness. And I think it's something schools really need to look into, like having some form of parent education series where you can keep talking to the parent. Let me also add that that Montessori school that I talked about, one thing they also did there was they had parent education series where they talk to parents
Hmm.
about how they introduce some of these concepts to the children. And parents used to
Right.
really come. Then parents used to really come. But now I know that everybody now, parents are so
Busy.
busy. If we have more
Hmm.
intentional parents now, that would be fantastic. Then you have parent awareness where you talk to the parents about how you do your phonics class. Like a lot of parents don't even know why we use Jolly phonics or why we use
Right.
letters. They just don't understand because they are used to it's not A B C we were taught. Why are you now starting from
And then maybe they are using
why are you
letter
starting
names
from
at
letter
home
sound
while
first?
you are teaching sounds.
And you're teaching sounds. So why are you doing sounds? Why are you not doing letter names? So we need to have more parents workshop where we can sensitize parents
Hmm.
about what we do and why we do them.
Fantastic. That's a whole lot. I hope that parents, school leaders, and maybe somebody in the Ministry of Education, I hope that they are listening and see how they can help us to
Yeah.
implement this because it will actually go a long way for the children. Thank you so much. We are almost at the end, but we'll do something interesting before we ask the final question. Something interesting. This
Okay.
round is the quick fire round. So, right here,
Mhm.
I'm just going to ask you questions. I don't want you to think too much about it. Just give me your answer in like 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, so early years related, phonics or story time?
Story time, always.
Okay. Messy play or outdoor play?
Outdoor. Let's go
Okay,
out.
okay. All right, then what is your favorite nursery rhyme?
Oh, the ground. Oh dear. Yeah.
Oh, he had
10,000
10,000 men.
more. March
March
them
them
up,
up to the
up of
top
the
of the hill
hill,
and
and
he
march
marched
them
them
down
down
again.
again.
And when they
When they
were up,
were
they
up, they
were
were
up.
up.
And when
When
they
they
were
were
down, they
down,
were
they were
down.
down.
And
And
when they
when they
were up,
were only
they
halfway
were
up, they were neither
up.
up nor down. Amazing. You cannot not have a favorite rhyme as an early years teacher.
Yes, no.
All right, now let's see. Glitters, yes or no?
Yes, but not too much, not so much, but
Not
yes.
too much. Okay. Now, one word to describe great early years teaching.
Intentional teaching. Intentional.
Intentional. Amazing. Now, play-based learning or worksheet learning?
Play based. Play based. What's worksheet?
That one is like, what do
Please.
you even mean?
Please let the children play. Let them
Exactly.
mold. Let them play with the sand. Let them mold.
Okay, tea break or nap time?
Nap time.
Nap
Nap time.
time, right? They
Yeah,
need
so
that
now,
rest as
maybe
well.
we can, nap as well.
Okay. And then finally, one early years myth that you would love to end forever.
So when they say smart children must write early or
Hmm.
must read early and all that, please, it doesn't work for me. Smart children should play. Smart
Right.
children should just play. Please, let children play. Let them play. However, intentional play. As I said, teachers need to be intentional, not just any kind of
Mhm.
play.
Amazing. Thank you very much for that round. So, this will be the very final question before we go. What practical advice would you give to parents who are trying to choose a school? Maybe they're trying to choose a nursery for their child and they are thinking, do I need to go somewhere where they are going to help me to push my child to do this? Or do I need to go somewhere where they see? Because sometimes when parents hear play, they're like, am I paying these high school fees for my child to come and play? What advice would you give to parents in order for them to properly understand what you mean by let the children play? And then, do they need to choose somewhere where they are going to be academically pushed?
Please, my first advice to parents is please stop following trends. Because you'll be shocked that our parents choose schools for their children. They follow trends. This is the school that is raining now. That's
Let's go there.
That's what's raining now. If your child go there, your child will speak. If your child will say the best phone in the whole world. Oh my God. Please stop following trends. Stop following, oh, my friend said, my distance said. Parents need to realize that if you're choosing a school for your child, it is for your child, your own child.
Right.
And you need to think of the child first.
Okay.
An environment that will suit the child's needs, because every children have different needs, and every parent also have their needs. Every parent have their expectations. So you need to think of a school that will suit the learning needs of your child. Some parents like big or large crowd spaces where you have a lot of children. Some parents just like it small.
Right, the
So
small
you need to also think
size.
of your child. You need to think of your child. You need to look for balance. Okay, where can I get a balance? Yes, I want my child to be able to write. I want my child to be able to read. But where can I get the balance that my child will also be able to play? So you need to ask about play-based learning. Ask how it's being implemented in the early years classroom. Then also observe classrooms. Like you can just come in and just observe the children playing, observe the teachers. In fact, I think when you're choosing a school for your child, you should take your time, no rush.
No rushing.
Because when you're choosing a help to come and work with your child at home, you take your time, you interview. Okay, you want to be sure that this person is safe,
it's a
like
good fit for my home.
For my child. So, and that should apply when you're choosing a school for your child. You need to consider your child's safety. You need to consider security. You need to consider your child's care, where your child will get the best care. For some parents, they just want their child to get the best care. Some parents are just about care. Leave academics, please. I just want my child to be well taken care of. So you need to think of what will be best for your child. And also don't focus on when they tell you that our children in nursery are already reading long text, our children in this are reading. While they're telling you all this, please try to listen for them talking about play-based. Try to listen if they will talk about play-based learning, if they will talk about taking the children outdoors, if they will talk about continuous provision. Try to listen to all this to know if it's only academics are coming to do here.
Focus on, or if there's a balance.
Yes, if there's a balance. So you need to look for the balance. You need to know if they're going to have presentations. You know, all these assemblies that we keep doing is to help the child, is to help their public speaking. Yeah, when we talk about show and tell, these are the things we want to achieve. So you need to ask lots of questions. What are the activities that you do for these children, or is just worksheet you give them? So parents need to ask lots of questions before they register their child. But most importantly, they should not follow trend. You should not follow peer pressure.
Right. Thank you. You have said a whole lot. And I am sure that there's so much for everyone to take away from here, from teacher to school leader to parent. I'm sure there's a lot to take away from here. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for sharing from the wealth of your knowledge. It has been amazing.
Thank you, Mrs. Ayeni. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
All right. And you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.